Welcome to the Marketing Impact Podcast with your host, Mike Wood from Legalmorning.com, providing tips and the latest trends in the world of marketing.
And welcome to the Marketing Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Wood from Legalmorning.com, and today we're going to be discussing brand management and reputation management. Many people think that they're two separate beasts, but I guarantee you they both ride in the same vehicle. It's important to take care of your brand before you need to get into managing your reputation. And today I got a very special guest, actually a colleague of mine I've worked with a few times by the name of Craig Brocky. He is the president of Reputation Experts. It's spelled XPERTS. You can actually go to the website if you're listening to this at home. It's Reputation Experts, XPERTS.com. Get some more information about what we're talking about here today. Now, Craig works a lot with online reviews, suppressing defamatory information, Google autofill, which is can be a good thing and a bad thing for people. His firm has helped many people from small businesses all the way up through Fortune 500 companies. And when I say Fortune 500 companies, I'm talking about people like UPS, Wells Fargo, Expedia, some big names he has helped all the way down again to small and local businesses. So how are you doing today, Craig?
Good. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Hey, I appreciate you being on. So we want to get into brand and reputation management, and I think there is kind of a similarity and a distinction we need to make with the two. Would you agree?
Sure. Yeah, there's definitely some overlap, but there's some distinct differences as well.
Okay, now brand management is basically going to be getting your name out there and getting all the positive information out there. What are some ways that people can actually establish their brand?
Well, I think press releases are a really good way to go about that. There's a lot of inexpensive and affordable yet effective press release services out there where you can start filling the news with information about your company, and the links coming in from that can be very good for your website, as well as these news releases themselves can rank quite well. And there's obviously, you can run promotions on Yelp or things like Groupon. There's all kinds of ways that you can get things looking really good. So when someone actually does a search for your company, they see very, very good information. They see social proof that you are not just a good company, but other people think you're a great company as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's be honest. If you run a small business and someone comes in and delivers the yellow pages, they go right in the trash. People don't use them anymore. There's no way to really establish your brand in that way anymore. Everything is digital. Nothing wrong with doing print material. Obviously, you need business cards, you need brochures, you need things like that you can actually put in people's hands. But you need to establish yourself digitally. I mean, social media. You need a website. Absolutely need a website. Even if you aren't selling something on a website, you absolutely must have one. So, yeah, absolutely. Now, one of the things about brand management I really want people to understand is you really don't want to have to get into reputation management. Now, nothing wrong with or managing your reputation. I mean, there's obviously always going to be some things out there that are trailing, trolls or people that maybe didn't like your service or whatever, but very important to establish your brand prior to having to go online and deal with negative reviews. How can someone help establish their brand through reviews as opposed to actually needing reputation management to take care of negative reviews?
Okay, good. Well, reviews are free, so that's a great thing about them.
That's always a good thing, right?
Secondly, you can actually turn them into a huge asset for your business. Most businesses today are affect or they don't have a lot of control over reviews. So if they have any, it's kind of lucky or fortunate that they do have some good ones. And more often than not, you find the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and you get negative. People who've had a bad experience are the ones that typically leave the reviews online unsolicited. So what's really good is for a business to be proactive about reviews and use a system it complies with the terms of service for Yelp and Google, but just use a system proactively so that you're getting feedback from customers on a regular basis and making sure that the best reviews actually get posted to Google and Yelp so that when people look you up, They see really good information about you, see the raving reviews. And again, this is free to implement. Companies like mine can help you in implementing a system like this initially so that you get the hang of it and get success with the system. And there are definitely some software systems out there that can help you monitor it and make sure that only 4- and 5-star reviews are actually pushed over to sites like Google and Yelp to post them there. And other ones you can keep internal and just use them as feedback for your company and where could you improve your business. So all the feedback is good. The 4- and 5-star stuff we want it online for everybody to see. Anything less than 4 stars, you want to keep that internal and use that for your quality control and customer service feedback system.
Yeah, absolutely. And anyone could build a website nowadays. So, you could build a website, say you're the best in the world, but people are going to trust other people that have had experiences with you. So if you're able to get those reviews pushed out there, they're positive, people are going to read those. And I'll be honest, I don't like Yelp. I don't like anything to do with Yelp. But when I'm out and about looking for a place to eat, Yelp is the first place I go. So,
exactly.
even though I don't like it, it's still usable. And the reason for that is because I'm going to believe other people's opinions,
Right. And I know that you weren't really wanting to focus too much on star ratings and reviews this podcast, but according to Bright Local and Dimensional Research, 95% of customers find local services using a search engine. So like you said earlier on, the Yellow Pages go in the trash. Everyone goes to Google or even to their map application on their phone and just does a search.
Yes.
90% of consumers say that online reviews influence their purchases. And 88% of consumers say that they trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations from family. So that's where things are at today, right now.
Correct. Now, before we get into actual reputation management techniques, I just want to reiterate that it is extremely important to get ahead of any type of negative reviews, and that starts at the beginning of your business. And a great example of that is Chipotle, and I've talked about Chipotle quite a bit recently, and that brand has taken a lot of damage over the last 6 months. But if you go back to when it was first announced that there may have been, some foodborne illness with Chipotle, the initial reaction, I think, from people reading those reports were almost disbelief. How Chipotle's healthy. How could it possibly be this? And Chipotle has done a great job of branding itself, brand management up front, so that when something like this happened, they had a great reaction from the public, which was like, what? Are you kidding me? Is this true? Almost like a disbelief. And that's the type of impact you can have if you do proper brand management. People see you in a positive light almost to when, something negative happens. It's like, no, this can't be true. So it's very, very important to get yourself out there and show people what you are. Get the positive information out there because, as we'll get into in a minute here, one negative review can do disasters for your business. So it's always good to get in front. Now, for those listening, I want to let you know that at the end of the podcast, we're going to tell you how to get a free reputation management report. Basically, be able to see what people are saying about you online. So you want to stick around. We'll tell you how to do that. Now, let's get into reputation management here for a minute. What is the purpose of reputation management?
Okay, well, there's two ways of looking at it. One is preventative and one is damage control. Most of the businesses that know that they need reputation management, it's already too late and they've got some sort of damage control issue. And that's where someone's posted something on a negative site like Ripoff Report or PissedConsumer.com or even Complaints.com. And you've got a problem showing up in the first page of Google results when someone searches your name or your company name. Now, there's other sites too. You might have a negative media article hit, and that's sometimes even tougher to deal with because you'll get other media sites syndicating that message and really filling up the search engines with that negative or at least twisted message about your company or brand. So in those types of situations, it's far more expensive, because first of all, every time someone searches your name, they're seeing negative things, and that's affecting your bottom line. But furthermore, fixing that problem when you have not taken preemptive measures, fixing a problem where there's a negative on the first page takes oftentimes several months and lots of resources. It's very, very expensive to clean up a problem once it's already existing. Whereas if you're proactive about it and start filling up good information now, not only are you going to help increase your sales by getting great star ratings, great press releases up there, making your Facebook page speak for itself, having lots of followers, lots of Twitter followers. All these things can help enhance and strengthen and what we call install a digital firewall of protection around your brand, so that if something negative does come up, it has far less effect, if any effect, on you. Whereas if you don't do anything up front, one ripoff report filed can cost you tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars of lost business and cost. Yeah.
And the cost is it can be enormous when you're trying to get that stuff removed. It's just and it's a pain, and I'm not just talking monetarily. I'm talking the time and energy that needs to be exerted to get that stuff taken care of.
Right, and a ripoff report's permanent. Even if you hire a defamation lawyer, the site itself has a policy about not removing things, even if they're proven to be blatantly false.
Correct, and they're not required by law to remove it. They're actually protected by law to be able to keep that up there. So, yeah, it's a long process of going through, winning a lawsuit, then you have to go and try to get it de-indexed from Google, and they don't necessarily need to honor it. So, yeah, you can get into a lot of time, a lot of money. So, now, Craig, I give everybody on the podcast the final word. You basically get 1 minute to tell the audience anything you want, anything about you, anything about the website, your company, anything about me if you want. I know people like my nasally voice, so if you want to compliment me on that, I'd appreciate that. And I won't cut you off unless you're cursing, so anything you want to say, go ahead and do it.
Sure. Well, I know that you specialize and do a lot of work with Wikipedia, and I've worked with you on some jobs where we're actually cleaning up the first page of Google results for customers. And that work, again, is really, really tough, really expensive. So my message to business owners or, high-profile individuals or anybody really who wants to make sure that their image is positive is to be proactive and think about branding up front and think about reputation management ahead of time and start building 5-star reviews, start building positive news stories about yourself, start building up your Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, all these things, setting up these profiles ahead of time and letting them generate strength, because the way Google views things, when they're brand new, unless it's brand new on a major media site, it typically doesn't rank on the first page. Usually assets take a while, sometimes weeks or months, to build up strength, build up trust and authority in Google to move on to the first page of results. So by acting now and being proactive about it, it's kind of like buying insurance for your brand. People buy fire insurance for their building. They've got all types of insurance. But when it comes to the brand, they're wide open to attack, and they just don't know it. One ripoff report, one pissed consumer article or complaint, and it's really having an effect on them. Or say they've got a Yelp page and they've only got 3 reviews in it. Well, someone can come in there and post a couple of 1-star reviews, scathing 1-star reviews, and really have a negative effect on your business. So now is the time to flood Google, flood Yelp with positive information about yourself. Make your good works well known. Let your happy customers have their voice. And that's what's really important.
Yeah, and thanks again, Craig. Appreciate you coming on here and giving your expertise. For those who are looking for a free reputation report, you can do so at reputationexperts.com. What you do is go to reputationexperts.com. That's REPUTATION, and experts is spelled reputationexperts.com/free report. So reputationexperts.com/free report. And you go to that page there and you can get a free reputation management report, find out what's being said about you on the internet, and a little advice maybe on how you can make things better. I'll also have that information on the one sheet for the podcast. You can go to legalmorning.com, click on the podcast tab, and get the information there as well. And as always, you can email me and say, hey, I listened to the podcast, I forgot the names. Where do I get my free reputation management report? And I will be more than happy to respond, give you the link to Craig's site, and you can go there and get all the information you need. Now, Craig, we hope to have you back on here soon. In fact, I think I'd like to talk a little more about some reviews if you're willing to come back and speak with us.
Sure, sounds good, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Okay, perfect. Thanks again for being on, and until next time, this is Mike Wood for Marketing Impact.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Impact Podcast. For a copy of the information from this podcast, please go to legalmorning.com and click the podcast tab. Until next time.